4 years after it began, the Russia-Ukraine conflict shows no signs of de-escalation. Instead, the fighting has intensified, with both sides significantly increasing their aerial attacks. To discuss the latest developments, we're joined by Mr. Ravi Joshi, is visiting fellow, Observer Research Foundation, an independent global think tank. Mr. Ravi, a very warm welcome to DD India News Hour. Now,
thank you.
It's been more than 4 years, and there are no signs of this conflict being abated. In fact, both sides have intensified their attacks on each other, and these attacks are resulting in the civilian deaths. Is there a new strategy by Russia and Ukraine this time? How do you assess the entire situation?
Yeah, let me start with your first statement that 4 years on, where exactly are we? I mean, where is Russia? Where is Ukraine? What is the gains made by Russia and what is the gain made by Ukraine? See, as far as Russia's gains are concerned, about 20% of Ukrainian territory is in Russia's control, particularly the Donetsk region, Donbass and Luhansk districts, plus large parts of Kharkiv and Kherson, and of course Crimea was annexed in 2014, much before 10 years before the war started. Okay, and from 2022 February, from the date in which the war started, Russia has made significant territorial gains. Okay, but it has lost a significant amount of manpower. That's very important to note. That it has, according to most independent estimates, Russia's loss has been more than 1 million to 1.5 million casualties, which means killed and wounded soldiers. Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas if on the side of Ukraine has lost territory, but it has lost about 500,000 to 600,000 soldiers, casualties, killed and wounded. So now, but Russia has also lost enormous amount of war equipment. It's tanks, it's armored personnel carriers, and its missiles, and it has so much ammunition as it has lost. And in the meanwhile, Russia has been seeking the help of North Korea, both in terms of manpower and in terms of machinery.
Weapons.
So, yeah, North Korea has already supplied about 20,000 soldiers, according to some reports. Okay, so on the Russian side, the engagement of the manpower is enormous. Okay. But the gains have not been very significant in the last 1 year. I'll give you one simple statistics. In August 2025, that is exactly 1 year ago, Russia was marching at the rate of 16 square kilometers per day. Okay. Today it has come down to 1 square kilometers per day, which is a shocking state of affairs. I mean, Russia, with all its superior power, there is a complete stalemate, and it's a war of attrition which is going nowhere.
Okay, Mr. Joshi, both sides, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I understand what you're saying about the manpower and the soldiers that they're losing. But my question was that both sides have intensified aerial attacks, and massive aerial attacks, by the way. Is it their new strategy?
No, actually, it is right that both sides have increased their drone attacks. Okay, and drones have been used by both sides into very significant numbers, and they have caused enormous damage. And also ballistic missiles, and the Ukrainian ballistic missiles have gone and hit oil refineries as far as 1,300 kilometers inside Russian territory. From the Ukrainian border, which is an enormous attack, fantastic attack. It hit oil refineries. And basically it is now recently, 2-3 days ago, it hit in Moscow a very famous store called Woodberries, which is like the Amazon store of Moscow, and this is hitting normal day-to-day life of people. So far the normal day-to-day life was insulated. They thought the war is going on somewhere else, we are not bothered. But now it is coming and hitting at their doorstep. So Ukraine has been carrying out very significant attacks. But now what the reports that are coming are that Moscow's drones and missiles are being, Ukraine is unable to intercept them because it has finished it has depleted its ballistic missile interceptor stock.
Okay.
Basically Patriot missiles which America was supplying to Ukraine. That is now almost finished. So and now the attacks are happening in Kyiv city. The Russian missiles are now coming up to Kyiv city. So this is a dangerous escalation as far as Ukraine is concerned. And Ukraine seems quite helpless in preventing it.
Okay.
And Trump has said he's not going to supply any more Patriot missiles to Zelensky.
Okay.
So this is a very dangerous situation. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Joshi, you just mentioned that
Go on.
Ukraine's air defenses are getting depleted, but some reports also say that Ukraine is working to develop its own version of Patriot system. That is number one. You also mentioned wild berries. Yeah. You also mentioned wild berries, attacks on wild berries. Ukraine is continuously targeting wild berries. Why it is so? Any specific reason behind it?
It is basically to show that Ukraine can attack such targets. And it's a very important economic target which supplies day-to-day needs of the Russians. It's like hitting Amazon warehouse in Delhi or Amazon warehouse in Bombay. And which will cripple the day-to-day life of ordinary people. Anyway, now coming back to your first question regarding Ukraine manufacturing its own Patriot missile, that is not going to happen in the next 3 to 4 years. Okay, that's a far-off pipe dream, and America is not going to supply the technology for Ukraine to manufacture its own Patriot missiles.
But they had discussed supplying their technology few days back.
But with Trump,
but the plan couldn't be capitalized. But the talks, these sort of talks happened.
Trump recently said in an interview to Financial Times that it's a very serious weapon, and we have to carefully think about it, and we are not going to hand it over so easily. So Trump knows the value of Patriot missiles, and Trump also needs those missiles in the West Asian War, where US is fighting Iran. And there also their missile interceptors are depleted. So America is now opened two front wars in against Iran and against Russia. And America has to see which is more important for it. Obviously, Iran is more important target for America than saving Ukraine. So Trump will focus on that.
Okay, Mr. Joshi, what can we say about the objectives of these aerial assaults? Do you think that they go beyond purely military goals?
They are also technology demonstrators, and also they have military values. So it is an important indicator of the strength of the respective countries. Not only drones, you can send 500 drones per day, and you can cause very dispersed damage. But the damage will not be very significant. Whereas missiles can damage a territory, a building in a very significant way, and it can kill several people. And the recent attack on Iran, in Kyiv has killed 17 people in one attack.
Right.
So so that's a major escalation in the war front as far as Russia is concerned. Russia is not letting it go, and that's the sad part. I mean, though Zelensky is now talking that he is ready to meet Putin and start peace negotiations, there is no response from President Trump. President Trump doesn't seem to be very interested in organizing another meeting between the two of them. And I don't see President Putin coming and talking to Zelensky unless Zelensky accepts certain serious conditions,
demands,
which are red line. Which are red lines for Ukraine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why both the leaders are not coming on the negotiating table? What is stopping them? Are these just the demands or something else? Something goes beyond
that? The best chance for a peaceful negotiated settlement was in 2025 itself, when Russia was ready to meet Zelensky in Turkey. And Turkey had organized a fantastic opportunity where Sergei Lavrov had met the Ukrainian foreign minister, and they had worked out certain formula. After that, President Putin and Zelensky were supposed to meet. But that time, Boris, what is that fellow of London, the British Prime Minister, he went and stopped that meeting. So NATO countries and Britain and US were not interested in peace at that time. They thought that we will beat Russia to death. And we will hammer Russia and weaken the state as much as possible. But that entire strategy changed after Trump came to power. And Trump refused to support Zelensky unconditionally as Biden and other NATO countries were doing. And suddenly the game changed against Zelensky. And it changed in favor of Russia.
You're absolutely right. In fact, Mr. Joshi,
Yeah.
Russian assaults have forced Ukraine to suspend vital grain and steel shipments from its seaports. And the risk of another winter energy crisis remains. So my question is, what strategy can Kyiv adopt to tackle this?
What strategy? Sorry, what strategy?
My question is, I'll repeat my question for you once again, that Russian assaults, they have forced Ukraine to suspend vital grain and steel shipments from its seaports, and the risk of another energy crisis remains. So do they have any strategy? They can gear up themselves to face it or tackle it? Or
it is not a strategy. I mean, Russia is forcing Ukraine to it is disabling Ukraine from shipping its wheat and its vital energy supplies to West. And in fact, this might cause a serious crisis in Western countries if the Russian gas does not flow through Ukrainian territory. And that should again cause a rethink in Germany particularly, and also in France to a certain extent.
Okay.
And so NATO countries should be worried about this escalation because Ukraine is unable to defend itself. The arms and ammunition supply is depleting, and Russia is not letting it go. The war is nowhere near end. So it's a very bad situation of war of attrition going on there.
Okay.
I don't see an easy way out.
This has to stop, isn't it, as soon as possible? Because if it will continue, not just NATO countries, not just Russia, it will impact the entire world. In fact, the impacts are being widely seen in day-to-day basis, that there are many aspects of it, and certainly this conflict has to stop as soon as possible. Both the leaders have to come on the negotiating table and finally chalk out a solution to end this. But we leave it there, sir. Thank you so much for coming in on DD News.
I entirely agree with you. Yes. Thank you.